Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
For young Chris Webber, who was blinded 17 years ago in an accident on Sailor's Bluff, this summer in Peyton Place has been deeply meaningful. He has met and become involved with Allison Mackenzie and her family. The warm and gracious Carson home has become a sanctuary, a place to forget the grim past, a place to think about a hopeful future.
Chris seems to be enjoying himself.
I think he is.
He likes you, Allison.
I like him.
How?
What?
How do you like him? As a companion, as a friend, someone to be comfortable with?
As a friend?
He wants more than that.
I'll make the coffee.
He can be hurt, Allison.
So can I.
But not by him. By Rodney, yes. And you can try to heal that hurt with Chris because he's safe. And he hasn't made any demands on you. Yet.
Aren't you rushing things?
Allison, all I'm trying to get you to do is to admit Chris's attraction to you. See it for what it is, and then deal with it.
I won't have to. He's going away, so you don't have to worry.
Oh, I thought you were going to spend the whole summer here.
I was, but it'll be easier back in Boston. Vacations are great, but they're not very conducive to study, and that's what I need most.
Oh, well, Allison has really enjoyed working with you, Chris.
She's wonderful. The best reader I ever had. She can make those long, dull passages sound like poetry. She spoiled me. I'll miss her.
Excuse me a minute, Chris.
Elliot!
I'll get it. All right, I'm coming.
Hello, Mr. Carson.
Sandy.
Is Chris still here?
Yes, come in.
I'm sorry to barge in like this.
Is something wrong?
Can I just talk to Chris for a minute, please?
Well, sure, he's in the living room.
Thanks.
Sandy?
Chris, help me.
What's the matter?
It's Lee. He's bombed. I mean, really smashed. I'm afraid I don't know what to do.
What happened?
He's gone after Ann Howard. He tried to kick her door down, and then he took off on his cycle. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to stop him. You've got to help me.
All right, come on. We'll see if we can find him. I have to say goodbye first.
Hurry.
Mr. Carson, Allison.
Chris, what's wrong?
I have to go.
Has something happened?
My brother,
He's been drinking. I think he's going to try to do something to Rodney. They had a fight and he fired Lee. I'm afraid he's going to try to get even with Rodney. Right, Chris? So we have to go.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I don't think either you or Chris are going to be a match for Lee if he feels that determined about it. You better let me go with you.
I know the places he goes when he's like this. I can find him.
Do you have a car?
No.
Will I slow you down, Mr. Carson?
Well, it's not
Let me answer for you. I will slow you down because I'm not very good at running after people.
All right, Chris. I'll buy that. Yes, you will slow us down.
Take Mr. Carson with you.
Chris.
Maybe you can stop him before he does anything.
Don't worry, Connie.
Coming, Chris?
Like the man said, I'd just slow you down. I'll wait here.
Connie, get in touch with Rodney right away.
Chris, if he finds Rodney, what will he do?
I don't know.
He doesn't have a gun or anything, does he?
He doesn't need a gun or anything.
Why don't you two go back into the living room?
be all right?
Sure. Everything will be all right.
Want some coffee or anything? Chris.
Mrs. Carson?
I tried to reach Rodney, but he isn't home.
Never mind about Rodney. Call Ann Howard and warn her about my brother.
Sandy said...
Call Ann Howard. Please.
All right. I will.
Hello?
Mike,
Yes, Connie?
I hope I'm not disturbing you.
No, never.
Is Ann Howard there?
Oh, yes, she is.
I don't want to alarm you, but Lee Weber's been drinking, and his brother's here. He wanted me to call Ann and warn her. He's afraid that Lee might try to hurt her in some way.
Oh, I see. Well, thanks for calling. I'll take care of it.
Elliot's out looking for him now.
Good. It'll be all right.
Thanks, Mike.
Goodbye.
Mike? What is it?
Lee Weber's out on a binge. His brother's afraid you might be the target.
But that wasn't Chris on the phone.
No, that was Connie. He's over at Connie's house. He asked her to call and warn you.
Chris asked her to call?
Something's got to be done about this guy. I've tried everything. I've talked to him. I've threatened him. All right, now it's going to be up to someone else.
Who are you calling?
The police?
Oh, no, don't.
Look, he's over the edge now. He's through talking. He's going to push and push as hard as he
I
can.
know that.
Well, it's time somebody pushed back.
No, Mike. Why do you think that Chris tried to warn me?
Well, because he doesn't want to see you hurt.
No. He'd have a reason to. If he thinks I hurt him, then he could want to see me paid back. You're right. No matter how Chris feels about me, he doesn't want to see me hurt. He just proved that. It's Lee. He's the one who won't let it rest. But why? I mean, why should he be the one? After all these years, why should he want to punish me? Or have to punish me? He isn't hounding me because I blinded his brother, but because I didn't. And if I didn't, then who did? That's the next logical question, isn't it? That's the one they'll ask if I prove that I'm innocent. If, Mike. If I'm allowed to. If somebody doesn't stop me.
Lee. Lee Weber.
I'm not frightened of him anymore. Because he's frightened of me.
Mr. Carson, I told you no cops. They'll climb all over Lee.
Sandy, do you want to find your husband?
Yes.
Well, the police can help.
I don't want the police to.
Remember Joe Chernak? Another girl asked me not to call the police. Rita Jacks. I now have a house rule. I never make the same mistake twice. You coming in?
Uh-uh.
Wait here.
Sandy? You all right?
No, I'm not all right, and it's all your fault.
What are you talking about?
Why'd you do it?
What?
Fire Lee. You did it, you know. You set him off. That crummy job meant a lot to him, but you had to can him because you were fooling around with that drag, Betty.
Betty has nothing to do with this.
Sure, she has nothing to do with anything. Well, Lee smashed and out looking for trouble, and it's your fault. Whatever happens is your fault, mister.
Rod,
Hello, Mr. Carson.
I'm glad you're here now, Sandy. Just take it easy.
It's all right.
No, it's not, Rodney. No, it's not.
Well, he set him off. He did it, and I think he ought to know.
Sandy, you're not helping anyone behaving like this.
I just think he ought to know what he's done.
Lee Weber's out looking for you tonight.
Yes, I realize that.
We've got to get you home.
Look, Mr. Carson, I don't need an escort.
Well, whether you want it or not, you've got one.
Forget him. We've got to find Lee.
Sandy, we will find Lee after we get Rod home.
Mr. Carson, look, I appreciate this.
Rodney, I'm not out for the night air, and this is not cowboys and Indians in the playground. Lee Weber is looking for a place to explode. And according to Sandy here, you're it.
Well, I've had my share of Mr. Weber. I don't want any more.
And if it comes,
I'll be ready.
for another Joe Chernak?
Let's keep them above the belt, okay?
Now, look, Rodney, you've got a choice this time. Are you grown up enough to make it?
He knows where I live. It's his choice.
Come on, Sandy, let's go.
Rodney, how are your wounds?
Healing.
Did you find him again?
Who?
Your opponent.
Oh, you've got it all figured out, haven't you? A pattern of behavior. I select my victims very carefully, pick a fight with them, and then at first, if I don't succeed, I try and try again until my victim hits his head on a heavy object and dies.
That was unnecessary, Rodney.
Well, then consider this. I didn't find Lee Weber because I didn't go looking for him.
Good.
Good night.
Is he looking for you?
How did you know?
I didn't. It was hardly a brilliant guess. One of you is not going to be able to let it alone. If it isn't Mr. Weber, it's going to be you.
Well, you're right. He is looking for me. I got the news tonight. So prepare yourself, grandfather. The castle may be invaded and the moat crossed.
Can you defend yourself? I'm sure you can. You can defend yourself against fists and rocks, possibly even firearms. But what about subtle things? What about innuendo? Sly remarks about other men's wives?
I'll handle it.
If Mr. Weber were to smash down that front door right now, I'm sure you could handle it. But what if the door opened gently, with a key, and the intruder was Hannah's son, Stephen? Your old friend, Stephen. Your protector. The man who saved you from a murder charge. You remember Stephen?
What about him?
Could you hold your temper?
I don't know.
Could you deal with the subject of his wife's affections without using your fists?
I don't know.
Too bad you don't know. Unclench your fists, Rodney. Learn to deal with people on a rational level.